NBA playoffs are set, match and ready to go. And here we are with the basically, I'm going to give like a simplistic way. I was like, I'm diving into the playoffs. I was like, look, I ain't really watched the games over here like I normally would into the season. That does not mean I haven't kept up with it, chimed in on some stuff, watched some games, highlight, listen to people who know basketball in a way I can't talk about sometimes. But with that being said, let's just go ahead and get out the way. Some easy ones. I was like, friends like Cleveland versus Miami. I think Miami gets a game. I think they get a game here, but I was like, I'm not sweating this one at all. I think Cleveland just got it's too connected of their players versus somebody like versus the Heat, where it's like you have Tyler Hero, and then you just hope all the role players give you that Miami Heat culture and just start playing. But at the same time, at the end of the day, don't get me wrong. I was like, I will think they will be close games. I do think Miami will play them like close. I was like, they do got enough people to sort of bother their two scores and stuff like that. But I do think Cleveland come out in the end. But I do think Miami will get a game or so. I was like, you know that kind of Tyler Hero could go off and you get Bam. I was like, you at least got a chance in the game or whatnot, whatever you get from Wiggins or whatever. But I think this is sort of this is a hard one for them to get to. Same thing with the Magic and the Celtics. To be honest, I was like, you really just kind of wanting to see I was like, what the Magic do? They don't have Suggs, so they're not the full strength to see how the young team compares against the NBA champions. But the Magic, look, you really just gonna have to hope for an off shooting night or one of them dudes get hurt, and even then, you really just gonna have to wish for an off shooting night in a way that it's like the Magic don't shoot anywhere close to that. So I want to say close to a sweep, but I was like I'll give them a game. I'm gonna be respectful. I'm gonna give them a game. Here. I was like Pacers versus the Bucks. I think that actually is an intriguing matchup from last year. I was like Giannis is healthy. I was like the whole crew is healthy. Look like Dame will probably play at some point in the series now that he's cleared of his blood clot situation. And I think if you give him that, and I was like, and Dame is able to give you something, because I was like, you got really good production out of Kevin Porter, some people were talking about like at a throw-in guy, but he's offense. He gets to the paint. Giannis is still that type of player. He is still a top player. If you're going to give Jokic a chance against teams because they're like, they got Jokic, do the same thing to Giannis. I'm not here for the Giannis slander, all right, or whatever. I was like, but Porter's a play good catch as he came back from his suspension. I was like, I think they'll give the Pacers way more, and I'm going to say that I think that they eke it out or whatever in a 6-game series. I was like, I think the Pacers, I was like, sometimes you can still get them because of how sometimes I was like, with they fast pace or whatnot, they'll be in games, they'll be not in games, depends on their shooting sometimes. I was like, so I would go with the Bucks, who I'm like, I think that I was like, between their three bigs, I was like, Kuzma's a big ass dude or whatever. I'm like, a lot of they dudes aren't in that type of way, like, Pascal. Like, until you get to Miles Turner, everybody else is like 6'8" or under. So I think that they'll have the advantage in that situation. Plus, they still got Giannis. Damn it. Damn. Anyway, the one that intrigues, I feel like everybody the most is the Knicks and the Pistons. My thing is that while I think it's going to be a rough rally, get them elbows off me type of series, do the Pistons have enough firepower in this situation? First time for them being playoff. I know they got a couple veterans on the team, but do they have enough to basically go one-on-one with I was like, well, match up against the Knicks. I was like, I think the Knicks will get this series. I think it will be in 6 because I do think the Pistons will grime up some games. I was like, the Knicks can sort of just let you down at times. In situations, we'll see how Cat performs when he's on the brighter state of the playoffs. I know he got far last year and all this other stuff, but this New York, he's been playing really well this season. But I was like, playoffs a different thing. I was like, we'll see if Brunson gets to the four, because I think he's been sort of like up and down since he came back from his injury or whatever. Them other dudes have been kind of like I was like, they're good complementary players if you got those two rolling. But I was like, they have really just relied on them two dudes instead of doing stuff themselves or whatever. I was like, on the other side, I was like, we got the Thunder and the Grizzlies. I think this is an intriguing matchup, even though the Thunder has smacked the Grizzlies. Like, you would think that they would match up really well with the Thunder a lot of the times. I was like, I do think the Thunder will get, not the Thunder, the Grizzlies. I was like, I'm trying to figure out one or two. I think they'll get one. But I was like, because sometimes they could be inconsistent. I was like, Jaren Jackson has been having a good year, but I just don't like the way he shoots the ball, to be honest. But this is the NBA, so it's like, hey, you shoot some threes, you're going to have to make at least like 40%. 40%, you're in good shape. I was like, you would think that their bigs match up in that type of way. You got Baines and you got, I would like Morant to go against Shea and J-Dub or whatever. But you got to really see if J-Dub and Chet really come to play to balance out Shea. But Shea can take over a whole game himself. We seen him do it last year in the playoffs. You really just want that Ja be that star and that neutralizer. But I was like, and he'll have more rest after the ankle. I mean, he will have a little bit of rest after the ankle, but not too much. So we'll see how it have to go. But I was like, I'm gonna pick the Thunder basically to get this in 5. I was like maybe 6, depending on the health. Nuggets Clippers is intriguing because I was like, I think that most people will probably be going Nuggets because, hey, Clippers, James Harden pass and all this other stuff. But I think the Clippers is going to get the Nuggets. I think Jokic is going to be playing the whole game. It's the playoffs. But you got somebody like Zubac, I think, that is going to basically give Jokic more run for money, make him play, but also, I was like, he plays differently than Anthony. I think that I was like, he can match up against Anthony Davis. I was trying to think of another big that sort of goes against Jokic quite a bit. But I was like, he does a better job at that. I was like, score. I was like, the rebounding. But I think what it will be is neutralizing the other people. You got Derrick Jones. You got Kevin Dunn. You got Kawhi Leonard. I was like, and that's the key part in all this. And I'm like, if they're on Murray the whole time, then you're really relying on like, okay, cool. Porter, we need you to show up, unlike how sometimes you do in the playoffs. Aaron Gordon, I was like, we can't leave you there all like how you were playing when Jokic was out. We need some of that. I was like, but James Harden, and I think in this situation, but he always is going to give you like a cool 15 and some points. But I think now that it's not on his back, like you have Kawhi, and Kawhi is going to play if he can play. Unlike, sometimes with Embiid or, James Harden. Like James Harden and his supporting cast, I'm like, you have a guy that's going to play. And that's the guy. And if Kawhi plays, I'm like, that to me can neutralize Jokic, because I was like, if he's right, he is the star on the court. He is he's the multiplier, whatever they want to say. That's the guy you need to go through, and that's the guy that will win you a game with some buckets. I think the Clipper probably will just go with, hey, Jokic, fine, you want to do everything, but we're going to make sure these other dudes don't breathe or whatever. Going to need playoff Jamal to come out. Hey, you in L.A., I know you do that against the Lakers, and you do that against the Clippers. Let's see what you do there. I was like, last one. Wait, hold up. Is it the last one? No. Crazy. Rockets, Warriors. See, I like the West has got the better matchup, because I was like, the Nuggets one, this one, and the Lakers one. This one, I was like, because if you get Steph and Butler playing like how they did in the playing game, and they're both playing at that high rate, at clip, and I was like, you should get a better shooting performance from Curry a bit. Then I was like, I think that the Warriors can get this series. I think the Rockets have a lot of people they can throw at Curry. I was like, they got bigs that I think that. I was like, they got Steven Adams, but Steven Adams ain't going to be scoring the ball. But I was like, but he's still a big dude that you're going to have to just get away from lobs, and who's going to push him out the paint. But I was like, they got posts that can stretch him out at times. Yeah, I was going to say, I was like, Şengün and Draymond, I don't think that's as crazy as it is. I was like, I know Şengün is bigger than Draymond, a lot of people are, but I was like, he's not like Jokic big in that type of way that I feel like Draymond can't at least impede him at times or whatever, get in his head. What kind of Jalen Green you gonna get? What kind of shooting performance there? Are you gonna frustrate Dylan Brooks enough? Cause he gonna go up against Jimmy Butler. You already know that's about to be a whole bunch of knucklehead basketball right there. I was like, Fred VanVleet being back helps a lot. This would go either way. I wouldn't be surprised if the Warriors got it. I wouldn't be surprised if the Rockets got it. I gotta get off that fence or whatever. I was like, it's a supporting cast of the Warriors. It's like they ain't playing. They might play Kuminga a little bit in this series, a little bit more. But I was like, if he doesn't play, where you getting the points from? I was like, you going like Buddy Hield got to shoot better, pods. But do you trust the supporting cast of the Rockets outside of playing some defense? That's the question. So I'm gonna give it to the Warriors just because I like the Warriors do knock out them young teams or whatever. I think this goes 7. I think this will be a long series. I think that I think that Curry will have some all-shooting nights where it's that close. Maybe Jimmy ain't getting it like how he was, and if they're not, where you getting your points from? Last is LA Lakers versus the Warriors. I'm gonna give it to LA in 5. No. I was like, I was 6. That's a little disrespectful to Anthony Edwards and Rudy Gobert. I was like, cause I think that the Warriors will piece it together with all their players for at least a couple games. But I think the firepower of the Lakers, they got 3 scores compared to basically the Wolves that basically have 1. And I was like, their rotation of like Naz Reid, Daniels, Gobert, I was like, I think that will give the Lakers fits at times. But I was like, LeBron's big enough. I was like, Vando, Hayes, Rui, like they're not the big man to be afraid of. They're all like real like tall, long men. And I was like, Gobert just making sure he don't get close to the paint. I was like, Naz Reid, I was like, he mainly shoots. I was like, Daniel, you don't have to really score. He doesn't take it upon himself to score a lot of times, like he should. I think the Lakers, JJ Redick will cook up something, get that thing going, and confuse the dude. Cause I was like, they got enough 6'9" big stout dudes to basically get through this. I was like, I think their big man problems is Nuggets or Clippers and Thunder. That's where their problems will come in. But anyway, that's just my simple view of and who I'm picking for the NBA matchups. We'll see how all these games go. But I am actually excited and intrigued more so than I thought I would. I think all the matches line up pretty well. Even some on the East are intriguing depending on what you're looking for. I was like, really, you just want to see young guys for the champions and stuff like that. But anyway, let me know what y'all think. Till then, peace. I'm out.